Greetings. This is General CJG here, coming to you with, well, a surprise Star Wars video, because, well, I don't think I or anybody else Star Wars saw coming that the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett was releasing yesterday or 2 days ago. So, yeah. So joining me here, I have...
The true Mandalorian, Jango Fett.
Yes, indeed. The Macho Mandalorian himself is joining me here to react to this trailer. And this will be an interesting one. Did you saw this one coming, the Django? Because I sure as hell didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because the release date of this is the end of December. And usually for these trailers, they a couple months before, just to build up hype for the TV series. So it's kind of odd. I don't know if Mandalorian did it, but this one's kind of late to the game when it comes to releasing the trailer. So I guess we'll see how this one will end up being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. So, without further ado, let's do this. So, ready to Django?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Hey, isn't that the... Hey, that's the... I believe...
I am not a bounty hunter. I've heard otherwise.
Okay, there's Tamora Morrison, Boba Fett, always badass.
New outfit.
Oh, isn't this the same one from Mandalorian?
I know
Look,
that you sit
looks a little
on the
shiny.
throne of your former employer.
Oh, that's new.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
Boba Fett usually doesn't remove his helmet when he's surrounded by people.
You were once captains under
Yeah, he never
Jabba the
really
Hutt.
takes off his
I'm here to make
helmet.
a proposal that's mutually beneficial.
And even less negotiations.
Why speak of conflict when cooperation can make us all rich?
What prevents us all from killing you and taking what we want?
If you had spoken such insolence to Jabba, he'd have fed you to his menagerie.
Please. Speak freely.
Okay, so what do you think, the Django?
It was interesting to say the least. Definitely not the most action-packed or out there trailer like you see with the Mandalorian or other Marvel Disney project trailers out there, but it is still an interesting execution, I'll just say.
Yeah, definitely less action-packed than I expected myself. I did expect a few more things. Maybe they're reserving it for the actual series itself. So, there's that. Shall we go by the trailer piece by piece?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, so we start off with, well, basically seeing the outside of Java with that spider thingy from, Return of the Jedi. The one that had that weird container with the liquid. So there was that. And then we see, of course, the man himself, Boba Fett, portrayed by Tamora Morrison. And yeah, so you mentioned the armor looks a bit different. How so? Because it's shinier?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit darker in comparison because it's kind of hard to tell with Return of the Jedi and the other films and stuff, and with the Mandalorian. But this one is, you could tell the yellow is a little bit brighter, and the actual green of the armor is actually much darker in comparison. So I don't know if we'll bring up two photos, but it is noticeable to me.
We have to compare it to the Mandalorian because that's the closest. Because this is basically taking place shortly after Mandalorian, so that would be the comparison. So yeah, there is that, and then after that, oh, the Lucasfilm logo with the colors of the Boba Fett armor. That's a new one.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then we see, is this Mos Eisley or whatever spaceport in the Tatooine has? Because this is a new spaceport as far as I know. Because
Yeah, and we have to mention that we also have Fennec Shand from
Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian TV series, who's portrayed by Ming-Na Wen.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me of my pronunciation, but she was fantastic in the show, and it'll be interesting to see how we explore her character, not just Boba Fett, into this TV series.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Indeed. So next we see, I guess, a crime lord of sorts, or someone powerful creating Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, which interests.
Yes. Yeah, an Ithorian crime lord.
Yep, indeed. And then we see, okay, this is probably the biggest spaceport I've ever seen, if it's Tatooine, that is, because I don't know. Because do you see the jungle? There's like buildings like on top of the cliffs and inside the crater. Like, what city do you think this is? Because I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, if it's Tatooine, that's crazy to me because like Tatooine, I've always seen as a very non-populated city, but it could be Tatooine. It could be another, sector within Tatooine, another completely different area we've never explored. But it looks beautiful. I like it.
It does look beautiful. Yeah, definitely does. Then we see a throne that's abandoned. I was that throne. I bet it's probably the one that Boba Fett just built, cause I think that's Jabba's palace. It looks like it, at least.
Yeah, that's Jabba's palace, and then it's kind of hard to tell, but on the armrests, is two little rancors, their mouths jutting out.
Yeah, the Rancor faces.
Yep.
So there's that.
So,
Then we
yeah, so yeah, that's definitely Jabba's palace.
Then we see some shooters cornering Fennec Shand and Boba Fett, which interesting. Then we see Boba and yeah, he pretty much being in whatever spaceport it is. I'm still wondering why he takes off his helmet when there's a popular area. He usually doesn't do that. At least not when there's so much people around. He usually just does it privately.
Yeah, that is very odd to me, and it kind of like threw me off. But I did like the quote. He said, "I tend to rule with respect instead of ruling with fear, like Jabba the Hutt did." It's just very odd that throughout the trailer we see him take off his helmet willy nilly everywhere he goes, which is just not Boba Fett like, and it's just very very odd to see.
It is very odd. Like the only character I can think of that always removed her helmet whenever she was Iden Versio from Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA, which was just weird that she always took off her helmet. Like, yeah, and I guess here with Boba Fett, is it so that I guess more people see Tamora Morrison's face? I mean,
Hey, yeah, I guess, but like he is so like just a pretty awesome name within Star Wars. Like people love his character. So they'll recognize his voice pretty easily. And then once you see that person's face like once or twice, like you'll know like he doesn't have to take off his helmet every time now. He can keep the helmet on.
did he always remove his helmet in The Mandalorian once he got his armor? Because as far as I know, he probably didn't unless he was alone with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It was only once with just showing his face to actually in the yeah, and yeah, that's the thing with the Mandalorian. It was only I think once or until he got his armor. He didn't have his armor at the time, so he didn't have a helmet. But I think once he got his armor, I don't remember if he actually ever took his helmet off. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe just once after he got his armor, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
there's that. Then we see in, of course, Boba Fett's armor streaming exclusively on Disney Plus. No surprise there. Then we see Java's palace again with some people, I guess, walking towards it. And then we see Boba Fett negotiating with some Trandoshans and some other aliens. What do you think these negotiations are?
I don't know, but I think it's very like mafia like, and you can actually see in the background there's two Gamorrean guards.
Oh
Are
yeah.
they for Boba Fett or are they for this other crime lord? We don't know.
Who knows? I'd say Boba Fett because they're right behind Boba Fett. It wouldn't make sense for your personal guards to be on the back of the person that they're not serving you. So I'd say it's probably Boba Fett's. And considering that Jabba's palace was crowded of Gamorreans and he pretty much took over, it would make sense that they'd be his. So there's that.
Now, before that point, we actually do see a glimpse of the Tusken Raiders. So hopefully they come to play, and maybe Boba interacts with them, just like the Mandalorian did in I think it was season 2,
Season
in the
two.
beginning of season 2, which I think was awesome, bringing humanizing the Tuskens instead of just treating them as savages.
They have different outfits. I've never seen those types of outfits for a Tusken Raider. So
Yeah, they have something on the bottom, like below their mask. So yeah, that's an interesting new design.
yeah. Then we see Boba and Fennec Shand entering, I guess, a club of sorts. Seeing that the next shot has two Twi'leks and some guys sitting down. So probably that. Then we see. Oh, then the trailer says that he has an underworld. As far as I know, we haven't seen much Underworld, or at least the Star Wars Underworld version of Disney Plus. We have kind of seen it in the EU, and we were gonna see it heavily in Star Wars 1313 before that got cancelled. So, how do you think the Underworld in Disney Star Wars would go like?
Um, See, I'm not really sure because I mean, I guess we'll find out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of deception and you know undertakings, bribes and all this other stuff that's going to happen. So I feel like this is going towards more of like a mafia gangster type of crime film, crime series, I should say. So it's going to be a very different take than like this action-packed Boba Fett that is just run and gun and is just used to getting his way no matter what. So this is a completely different thing altogether.
Yeah, indeed. And then after we see the underworld, then we see the Slave One flying, which Slave One always looking badass like always. So I have no freaking idea why in Disney Star Wars it is now just called. It's no longer called Slave One, by the way. They call it by something different. I don't know if you knew that, Django.
Yeah, I mean, we won't really get into that, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever. These things happen. So what can you do?
Yeah, well, at least they call it the Fire Spray 31 ship, so I'm fine with that, as long as it's not just Boba Fett's ship like it used to be while they were deciding the name. So,
I mean, at least they didn't even like take the ship out completely, and it's something completely different. I mean, they kept the iconic design there, so that's all I care about.
yeah, indeed. And then we go back to the negotiations, and the guy is like saying once again, like, what's stopping us from killing you? And then we just see Fennec Shand and Boba just taking their drinks. And then we see Boba Fett's helmet dropping off with plenty of money in it. What do you think happened with that?
I don't know. He's just losing his helmet left and right constantly throughout this trailer. So I don't know if that could be like a bomb of sorts or no. I mean, I don't know what the heck is going on, to be honest.
I thought Mandalorians, their code was like to always use your armor. That included helmets, but okay.
I know. I mean, here's the thing with the Mandalorian too is like Boba also said that, "Oh, I am not Mandalorian," and he kept saying that a couple times throughout the series. But he is Mandalorian, guys. Come on. I mean, like at this point,
He
I
is
mean,
confirmed.
we as fans, we want to see that he is a Mandalorian and he wants. That's his background. That's who he is. He's not like an outsider. This is who he is.
Not to mention, Mandalorian Season 2 itself confirmed he was a Mandalorian. Because apparently, if you remember one of the episodes, it had like a manifest or a codex entry of sorts in building the armor, which pretty much said that, yeah, he's pretty much Mandalorian. Because the armor came from my father and my, that stuff. So
Yeah, that's true.
He confirmed that Jango Fett was a Mandalorian, and Jango Fett, he had Boba Fett as his clone, which he treated as a son. So So yeah, he pretty much was a Mandalorian, and is
Yeah,
a
so
Mandalorian.
screw the haters. He is truly Mandalorian.
Yeah. Then after that, we see some guys with some energy shields energy wrist shields and some spears. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're like part of the palace guard of sorts, because I think they were protecting the Ithorian crime lord, I guess. Um, I, I really don't know. I guess they were just trying to subdue Boba Fett in that moment, and they're just kind of like just protecting. I mean, because they find out that Boba was cheating or something with the money.
That's
We'll
something.
find out.
I'd expect that type of stuff from Lando or even Han Solo, not Boba, cheating with money and shit.
Yeah, of all people.
Yeah. And then, of course, we see Fennec Shand and Boba surrounded by these guys. And then Boba prepares his. I guess he actually is beating the shit out of some of them. Awesome. And then he has a spear and is going to stab one of them, and the camera just cuts out. We didn't see the stabbing. So there's that. And then Fennec Shan says that you would have never spoken against Java or something. If you know the actual quote, you can say it, Django. So there's that, and then at the end, Boba's like, "No, please speak freely." Like,
So he's just kind of taunting them that, hey, go ahead and run your mouths, because let's see what happens from there.
that's something. And then the logo, the title, the Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, what do you think, the Django?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I mean, I don't really understand the title, why it's called the Book of Boba Fett. I guess we'll find out later on the TV series, but that's what it's called.
Yeah, I'm still wondering why it's called the Book of Boba Fett. Let's see if there actually is an explanation, or if they just call it that for, I guess, to make it sound cool, instead of just calling it
Yeah.
Boba Fett Show or something like that. So yeah. Now, I'm wondering what we will see in here other than just the Star Wars underworld. I don't know, maybe some more hints at what Boba Fett was doing in between Episode 6 and Mandalorian. Like, aka, how the hell did he get out of the Sarlacc pit? We certainly need to see that. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's super important, and they even say that in one article that the series was an opportunity to explore the character's past, Boba Fett's past, and show what happened to him between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Mandalorian season 2.
okay, then yes, we have to see how he escaped the Sarlacc pit. Imagine if we actually see like a live action version of the innards of the Sarlacc. Oh God, that'd be something. Oh, that'd be something. But no, we don't need. We actually don't need to see the innards. We just need to see how the hell he escaped. Maybe just the Sarlacc's mouth is like there, and then it explodes, and Boba is like flying off, something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be something. But then we have to see how the hell he lost his armor, because Cobb Banff took it. So that'd be something. Like, I'm curious, because we got Cobb Banff's version of it in two sources. So we definitely have to see Boba Fett's version of how he lost his armor. He started tracking it. So
Yeah, and I also noticed that Tamora Morrison's character, as Boba Fett, his actual scarring from The Mandalorian season 2 to now, it looks like it's healing up. So he doesn't look like this scarred, totally scarred bounty hunter. He looks like a fresh new bounty hunter. So that's something that I noticed.
yeah, because he just looks bald and he doesn't have like any major scars or anything. Because you remember in Mandalorian season 2, when we actually see his face for the first time, like he actually does look like pretty. Yes, he does look bald, but he also looks pretty scarred and insane. So yeah,
Yeah.
and here he just bald.
And less scars.
That
No
too.
scars.
Yeah, that too, indeed. So yeah, it will be interesting indeed. So definitely. So yeah.
It's also worth noting that Robert Rodriguez, who directed one episode in the Mandalorian season 2 with Boba Fett's appearance, big entrance with Boba Fett, which was a badass, awesome episode, easily my favorite episode of Mandalorian season 2. He's going to be directing several episodes in the series, which is awesome, with Jon Favreau, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Dave Filoni also directing, other episodes as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how Robert Rodriguez and the others do it, because I wasn't really a big fan of Robert Rodriguez. I have to be honest with you guys, but he really converted me after Mandalorian season 2. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with the show.
And I just checked, and yes, if you see Boba Fett's head in Mandalorian Season 2, yep, he has more scars, even some dirt in it. But in the Book of Boba Fett, no, it's just pretty clean. Like, maybe a few scars, but not really any major scarring that makes it look like he escaped hell or something.
Yeah.
So that is indeed interesting. So yeah. And okay, so Robert Rodriguez is directing some episodes. Who else? I believe Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni would be also directing some.
Yep. And Bryce Dallas Howard.
Interesting. We'll see which ones are gonna be the best episodes and which ones will be the least best. From what I remember, The Mandalorian season 2, one of the worst episodes was the second episode. The one that dealt with the spiders. That was like a waste of time.
Yeah.
And which other episode was not that good? I don't remember.
I think it was the Bryce Dallas Howard episode. I don't remember which one specifically, but I remember I didn't really like that episode that she directed.
Oh, she actually directed the chapter 4 Sanctuary. There's that. And the other episode she directed was chapter 11, which basically was the episode which is the third episode of.
Oh, the Frog Lady.
No. The Frog Lady was the second one. This is the third one of season 2. No, this is the one that introduced Bo-Katan into the Mandalorian. That's the one that Bryce Dallas Howard directed.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so it actually is not one of the worst episodes in there. The Frog Lady was like, ugh. So yeah. Okay, so Bryce Dallas Howard has not done bad stuff as far as I'm aware. So maybe we'll see what she does. And Dave Filoni, well, we know what episodes he directed. Ahsoka, obviously. So no surprise there.
Now the thing is, do we think that the Mandalorian will show up, or any other characters that we can think of within the Star Wars universe could show up?
That's a good question, because I mean, this takes place after the Mandalorian, so maybe he could show up. Definitely not with Grogu, because Grogu's not right now with spoilers. He's with Luke Skywalker. So yeah, he definitely could show up. Hell, maybe they could even do a bounty together or something, or team up. I don't know. It'd be something. So would be interesting.
I have a feeling that Mandalorian will show up in at least one episode. I'm just more curious about Boba Fett's past more than anything, and just clearing up the
yes.
Sarlacc pit thing, because
Yes.
that's been a contested thing within the Star Wars universe for quite some time. And just to clear that up, that would just be like the nail, just the nail in the coffin for everything else with the Star Wars haters.
Well, the Star Wars haters hate that Boba Fett even escaped from the Sarlacc pit. Like, they hate that he got out of it, at all. So even just confirming that he got out of it is already good enough to shut up those morons. So
Yeah.
what we really need here is just how did he escape. So that's all we need. They just already explained with several sources, like if you remember the Mandalorian, the Boba Fett book trilogy, and Tales of Bounty Hunters. But here, there's none yet, so we need one. And Book of Boba Fett has to be the one to deliver.
Yeah.
So there's that. Anyway, so anything else you want to mention?
No, I think we touched base on it, pretty much everything.
Okay, then. Well, this was our reaction to the Book of Boba Fett trailer. And, well, we'll see you guys on the next State of Star Wars video. Bye-bye.
See you guys.